Underneath this helmet is Darryl Payne Jr., an Austin man, a former D1 track athlete, and now a dream chaser, hoping to represent the U.S. in the 2026 Winter Olympics. Question is, how do you train for the Winter Olympics while living through a Central Texas summer? Well, as Jeff Jones explains, it involves imagination, intention, and an iPad.
Some things just belong together. Peanut butter and jelly, rhythm and blues, Texas, and winter sports.
My name is Darryl Payne Jr. I'm shooting for the 2026 Olympics. This is the suit that we just slid in for the 2023-24 season. Skeleton is a tough sport to explain. It's like luge, but face first.
Darryl is determined to make the Winter Olympics.
You can see here at the bottom, there are over 300 small spikes in here to help us grip the ice when we sprint.
And he won't let the triple-degree Austin heat burn up his winter sports dreams.
I don't have to be freezing while I'm laying on the sled, thinking about, all the different scenarios that could happen on the track.
Darryl chooses to do most of his training here in Texas, traveling occasionally to traditional winter sports states like Utah and New York. Over there, he gets 1 or 2 runs in per day. Here, he's figured out a way for more.
I have an opportunity to kind of check myself and check my form. Being able to encounter different scenarios while I'm doing my mental visualizations. So the movements I'm making are pretty subtle. Being able to encounter that situation a dozen times while I'm lying on a sled and focus on just one part is a huge advantage for me, instead of just, waiting until the next run. If maybe the slider's in a dangerous or tricky situation, you'll see my body really strongly react.
Smart pivot to a problem. And it was a smart pivot that introduced this former Baylor track star to skeleton in the first place.
I think it was 2017. The U.S. Olympic Committee was having a scouting combine. I got recruited to that. There were 4 different sports there: rugby, cycling, bobsled, skeleton. You can see right here, there's little spines.
A new sport with new lessons. There's no obstacle you can't overcome, no curve you can't control, no barrier you can't break.
We call this the saddle.
What are you doing for young athletes of color by choosing this sport?
I think that's my favorite part of being in this sport today. We're sprinting, we're holding the saddle, we're sprinting. I'm the only black man in America doing skeleton. There's a whole season of sports that, we could jump into if we just knew that, one, they existed, like I didn't know skeleton existed. If we knew they existed and how to get into them. And then when the run is over, sit up just like they do.
Wow.
That's cool. Inspiration.
That's
Great
cool.
story, and it could get even better, guys. Darryl tells us he's hoping to start combines right here in Austin for all those athletes who maybe aren't getting the scholarships for the more popular sports. He wants to introduce the luge, skeleton, bobsled to those great athletes that maybe aren't finding their spot in a more popular sport.
That's cool. What a great story.
It
Now we
is
have
a great
somebody to
story.
cheer for in skeleton. I've never had anyone to cheer for in skeleton before.
I've been walking around with a skeleton my whole life, and now I finally can cheer for a
love it.
person who performs the skeleton.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.